Winning the lottery is supposed to be the ultimate escape hatch, the fantasy that scrapes people off cold floors and lifts them into warm lives dripping with comfort, stability, and freedom. But for some, that jackpot doesn't open a door. Instead, it cracks something inside them. It brings pressure, attention, greed, and chaos that they were never prepared to face. What starts as celebration slowly mutates into tragedy, broken families, debts, depression, and ruined reputations. Today, we're diving into the winners who beat impossible odds only to lose everything in the long run: money, marriage, sanity, and sometimes their lives. For Laura and Roger Griffiths, life before the lottery was humble but peaceful. They were the couple people pointed to when talking about solid marriages. No big fights, no simmering resentment, just two people building a modest life together, raising their kids, and quietly dreaming about something bigger. Their ambitions weren't flashy, just the normal hopes anyone might have. A nicer home, a little financial breathing room, the chance to finally stop worrying about the next bill. Then in 2005, lightning struck in the form of a $2.76 million jackpot, landing in their laps and shattering everything they believed about themselves and each other. At first, the fairy tale played out with perfect precision. They upgraded their lives overnight. They bought a dream home, a massive barn conversion with exposed beams, sweeping green fields, and the type of countryside calm people spend entire lives trying to afford. Roger got his Porsche, fulfilling the car fantasy he'd carried since boyhood. Laura treated herself to luxury trips to Dubai, Monaco, and New York, tasting a lifestyle she once only saw on postcards. Together, they walked through expensive boutiques with the kind of confidence they never knew before, finally feeling like they belonged among people who never checked price tags. For a moment, the money felt like pure freedom, like they had finally arrived. But jackpots don't just drop money into your account. They drop pressure into your veins. They create expectations, obligations, whispers from friends, temptations you never had to resist before. And slowly, little fractures began appearing everywhere. Roger tried to revive his rock band career with costly recording sessions and dream-chasing projects that never paid off. Laura began noticing how quickly their savings were evaporating. Arguments started happening more often, tinged with fear instead of excitement. The dream home, once a symbol of their new life, became a financial anchor, pulling them deeper into stress. Then came the catastrophe that pushed them over the edge. A freak fire tore through their stunning barn home, reducing their million-dollar dream to blackened beams, scorched walls, and a maze of insurance paperwork. Their home was underinsured, a mistake that cost them dearly. The repairs dragged on for months. Temporary housing drained their bank account at a terrifying pace. Every day brought new bills, new delays, and new reasons for both of them to lose trust in each other. Their marriage, once steady and simple, now sat in the center of smoke, ash, exhaustion, and quiet resentment. And then came the final blow. The moment everything cracked for good, Laura discovered suspicious emails on Roger's computer, messages that suggested he might be interested in another woman. Whether it was emotional cheating, curiosity, or something more, the damage was instant. The confrontation didn't end in a screaming match. It ended with Roger grabbing his keys, climbing into the Porsche he'd once celebrated, and peeling out of the driveway, leaving behind the wreckage of their home and the ruins of their relationship. 14 years together collapsed into silence and separate lives. Money didn't ruin them, money just revealed everything they didn't want to see. Every insecurity, every unspoken problem, every hidden dream pulling them in opposite directions. The jackpot didn't destroy their marriage. It simply turned up the volume on cracks that had always been there, waiting for pressure strong enough to break them. William Bud Post was never prepared for wealth, not emotionally, not financially, not spiritually. His life before the lottery was chaotic, but it was a kind of chaos he understood. Odd jobs, unstable relationships, daily stress, and a familiar struggle he had learned to survive. He wasn't a man who dreamed of yachts or mansions. He dreamed of stability, a working car, maybe a savings account someday. But when he won $16.2 million in 1988, that fragile structure exploded into a level of pressure he never had the tools to handle. Bud's downfall wasn't gradual. It was instant, violent, and almost cinematic in how fast it consumed him. Within months of getting the money, he was was already drowning in disaster. Just 1 year after winning, he was an unbelievable $1 million in debt. Not because he lived lavishly, but because every person around him suddenly saw him as a walking bank. A former girlfriend dragged him into court demanding a third of his winnings, and somehow, she won. His past reached up like a hand from the grave and snatched his future away before he even had a chance to understand what he was doing. But the darkest blow came from inside his own bloodline. Bud's brother, a man who grew up in the same house, shared the same table, the same childhood, hired a hitman to kill Bud and his wife just to secure an inheritance. The money didn't just change Bud's life, it mutated the people closest to him. Family members who once loved him now treated him like a lottery ticket they deserved a piece of. Every week came with new requests, business ideas, urgent loans, investment opportunities that were nothing but holes in the ground. Bud felt guilty saying no, so he said yes over and over, pouring cash he didn't have into dreams that never belonged to him. They never turned into anything but regret. As the financial storm spiraled, so did Bud's mind. The pressure crushed him from every angle. He couldn't sleep. He couldn't trust anyone. Bills kept stacking. Scammers kept circling. Family kept knocking. One day, overwhelmed and furious, his temper finally snapped. When a bill collector pushed him too far, Bud grabbed a gun and fired a warning shot over the man's head. An act of desperation that sent him straight to jail and accelerated the collapse of everything he had left. From there, his life unraveled piece by piece. Cars repossessed, properties seized, savings drained, friends vanished. The man who once held a check worth over $16 million ended up relying on $450 a month and food stamps just to stay alive. His wealth lasted months. His consequences lasted the rest of his life. Bud summed it up better than anyone else ever could. I was happier when I was broke. His story remains one of history's harshest warnings about sudden wealth, a reminder that money doesn't fix your life. It simply amplifies everything inside you. If you're not prepared to carry the weight, it crushes you. And for Bud Post, that weight was enough to break him completely. Winning once is nearly impossible. Winning twice is cosmic, the kind of luck that feels like it bends the universe toward one person and one person only. Evelyn Adams wasn't just a winner, she was a phenomenon. In 1985 and again in 1986, she beat odds so astronomical they practically defy mathematics, collecting a combined $5.4 million. Overnight, she became a national fascination. Newspapers printed her photo, talk shows wanted interviews, strangers pointed at her in grocery stores. Her name floated through conversations like she was living proof that miracles still happen, and at first that attention felt warm, thrilling, almost addictive, like the whole world was cheering for her. But fame is a tide that retreats just as fast as it rises. When the spotlight became too bright, Evelyn turned to Atlantic City, a place where people don't ask for autographs, they ask for luck. She walked into those casinos with money, optimism, and the dizzy confidence of someone who believed lightning could strike her as many times as she wanted. The atmosphere was familiar in a dangerous way. Ringing slots, flashing lights, buzzing energy, everything designed to make you forget the outside world. And Atlantic City welcomed her with open arms. Then it closed its fist. Gamblers talk about the hot hand, about streaks that feel magical. Casinos talk about something else, the guaranteed return of every borrowed dream back into their pockets. Evelyn learned the second lesson brutally. What started as entertainment turned into habit, and habit turned into a gravitational pull she couldn't escape. Every win reinforced the belief that she was special. Every loss whispered that the next spin would fix it. Dollar by dollar, thrill by thrill, her fortune leaked away like water through clenched fingers. By the early 90s, the miracle had vanished. She had lost nearly everything. Her millions didn't simply disappear. They dissolved into the noise of slot machines, the glow of casino carpets, and the heavy silence of regret. She later said she couldn't walk anywhere without being recognized, not as Evelyn the woman, but Evelyn the winner. And everyone who recognized her wanted something: money, favors, opportunities, a piece of the luck she no longer had. The weight of being the lucky one crushed her long after the money was gone. Evelyn won millions, but in the process, she lost privacy, security, and the quiet peace she once took for granted. In the end, the universe gave her two miracles and then took everything else back.